Hey friends, welcome to Group Chat Family Edition, the podcast designed to help parents and families have meaningful conversations about faith at home. I'm Brett, your host, and my heart is to equip you with simple, practical ways to bring God's truth into everyday life. Whether you're navigating bedtime talks, car rides, or dinner table conversations, this podcast gives you a quick look at what matters most in this week's session of the Gospel Project entitled Faithful to the Lord. This week's big truth: we don't have to walk in the sinful paths of those who have walked before us. Hezekiah and Josiah were two kings who chose a different path than their ancestors. Even though they came from a broken line of leadership, they led with conviction, reform, and a return to God. Their stories remind us that we're not stuck in the cycles we've seen. We can choose a different way. This week's Christ Connection: God used Hezekiah and Josiah to lead people back to Him, but they weren't perfect kings. Jesus is the righteous King of Kings who brings us to God by paying our sin penalty and giving us His righteousness. So this week we're going to be in 2 Kings 18 through 24, where Hezekiah destroys idols and restores worship, and Josiah rediscovers the book of the law and leads a national covenant renewal. Both kings face cultural and generational pressure to continue in sin, but they chose faithfulness instead. So here are some questions to spark conversation at home this week. What's something good that could become an idol if we put it above God? Do you think family patterns affect us, and how? Why do we read the Bible, and how can it really change us? What does it mean that Jesus is the Word? This week's theme might hit close to home for some families. Breaking cycles can feel heavy. Remind your students and yourself that our identity isn't tied to our past. Jesus gives us a new beginning. Create space for honesty and speak hope rooted in the gospel. This week, we can all choose a different path. Like Hezekiah and Josiah, your family can lead with faithfulness and return to God's truth. Remember, God's word is powerful and your story isn't stuck. It's being rewritten by grace. Now, this week on Wednesday night, we've had to reschedule our bonfire. It did rain last week, so we will do our bonfire from 6 to 7:30 this week for both middle school and high school. It'll happen behind the student building on the back 40, and so come and be a part of that. There's going to be games, fire pits, s'mores, the gourmet kind, worship, and a great time of community building for our middle school and high school students. So come back and be a part of that. So thanks so much for joining this week's episode of Group Chat Family Edition. Keep leading with love, and I'll catch you next time.